Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. Once again, coming in from Anarchapulco, Acapulco, Mexico. Actually staying at a good friend's house here. Pretty nice view, pretty nice place. He's actually a Dollar Vigilante subscriber. Obviously worth a lot of money, but a very incredibly nice guy. And I'm here with Joby Weeks, as you can see, and you've actually stayed with him when he came to Anarchapulco last year.
Yeah, it was very kind of him. Our Airbnb fell through, and he saved the day. So yes, look at this view. Perfect spot for an Anarchast, and really excited to be back in Acapulco.
Yeah, good to have you on. I think you've been on Anarchast once, or is it twice?
Yeah.
Twice, maybe.
One time. I spoke twice at the event, but I was only interviewed once.
Okay. Yeah, so if you don't know Joby, really interesting guy. If you watch him on Facebook, every couple days he's in a new place. You're just constantly on planes. Let's just start with that. Like, what's up with you just constantly traveling? And it's usually, a lot of the time on private jets.
Well, I'm trying to get it kind of out of my system. My wife and I are probably going to start having little babies here soon, so it's harder to travel with children, so I'm just trying to get it all out of my system. I have a lot of friends all over the place, and it's fun to network with people and see new cultures and stuff like this, so I just love traveling around the world. It's a blast.
Yeah, totally, and a lot of the time you do it on private jets through some sort of app on your phone?
Yes, it's called Jet Smarter. If you guys download Jet Smarter on the App Store, you get basically unlimited private jet flights all over the United States, Europe, the Middle East, and they're going to open Asia here soon, which it's amazing. It's like $1,000 a month, and they've got jet shuttles to the major cities, New York to San Francisco, New York, Vegas, New York, LA, New York, Miami, etc., and vice versa. So what's happened is there's a lot of planes out there, private jets, that are going to pick people up. Say you're a rich guy in Salt Lake City and you want to charter a jet from Salt Lake to Miami. You can charter and pay for the jet, but the jet that you just rented is actually in LA. So they have to send the plane from Los Angeles to Salt Lake to go pick you up. That LA Salt Lake is a dead leg. So we all get a text message, hey, there's a flight going out tomorrow on a G4 or whatever. Hop on, you and 3 of your friends can go for free. And so then we just get on for free. Well, it's all part of the membership, but I can bring friends with me for free as well.
And it's $1,000 a month?
It's a $3,000 initiation fee, and it's $9,000 a year, so $12,000, that's $1,000 a month.
Oh,
that's what I say.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's basically like Uber for jets.
It's Uber for jets, because it's like Uber Pool, because when you get on the jet, there's other members that might share the jet with you. So it's actually a really fun place to network with people.
Yeah, I'm sure they're probably pretty cool people.
Really cool people, laid back, already successful, flying around private jets, right? And I'm kind of the Bitcoin guy, so I always just talk about Bitcoin to these hedge fund guys or whoever's on the jet, and they're like, "Wow, I need to get some Bitcoin," so I'm all giving away wallets and showing them how Bitcoin works, and by the end of the plane, they're like, "All right, I'm going to buy some Bitcoins." So it's a fun place to make money while you're flying around.
Does this, what's it called again?
Jet Smarter.
Do
you
they
get free
accept
drinks,
Bitcoin?
you get food. I paid with Bitcoin. Several of my friends paid with Bitcoin. So
there you go.
Yes, it's awesome. And when they open Asia, it's going to be great. They just open a New York-London shuttle. So now all around the United States, New York, London, and then all around Europe too. So yeah, you got to come on a jet with me sometime. You don't have to go back to that third world country called America. You can go to meet us in Europe or something.
Well, I've been on many private jets, none of them my own, obviously. The one I remember the most was I was in Korea, or actually I was in Hong Kong, and I met Robert Friedland, who's a multi-billionaire Canadian mining guy. And I had my internet company at the time, and he was interested in investing. He said, "Why don't you fly back with me to Vancouver?" And we were in Hong Kong.
Wow.
And I was like, "Yeah, sounds good." And he said, "I just have to stop in Korea and do a business deal." So we stopped in Korea, and it was like the afternoon. And he goes, "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow morning at like 11 in the morning. Be ready because we're leaving at that time." And I went out. I had a blast. I always have a really good time in South Korea.
Yeah, of course.
And I got back around 9 in the morning to my hotel. I was staying with some people I'd met, and there's a note on my door, and it said, "Sorry, Jeff, we had to leave early. The flight actually now, we're leaving around 10 in the morning. It was 9 in the morning at the time. So I pack up all my stuff. I run down to the airport. Of course, that usually they have a private terminal for the private planes. Totally different. It's like night and day difference.
The Uber just drives you right up to the door. You hop out, run right up.
That's what happened. I got out. There was some people there. I said, "Yeah, where's Friedland?" And they pointed, and the plane was already starting to move out. And they said, "Run, run." I started running, and I got up to it. Thing opens up. I got on. took off.
All right, my
Private
hashtag is goodbye TSA, because that's one of my biggest pet peeves flying around. Is just always being groped, and they go through like coming down here because I didn't get a jet down here. I had to fly commercial, and they went through all my vitamins, and they're like, these things are testing as for like nuclear explosives and shit. And I'm like, how can my vitamins do this? I've gone through TSA 100 times, and you guys are gonna. So the guy proceeded to like swipe every single one. He's like, I can't clear this. I have to call my boss, and his boss had to call his boss, and all of a sudden I'm like standing there, and they're like, we're just gonna have to take this from you. I'm like, you're not taking. That's $100 of the vitamins. You're not taking my vitamins. So I like just sat there and waited until finally they got approved. Like, all right, here's your vitamins back. I'm like, you guys just should be so embarrassed, you know?
I wish I had a camera phone once. I'm standing behind a guy and they stopped him. And I don't know why he had a can of chicken soup in his carry-on, but he did. And so they were going crazy. They're like, chicken soup? No, you can't. And the guy was like, that's my favorite chicken soup. And they're like, we're gonna throw it in this basket here because it could be a bomb, so we're going to stand beside it all day and make sure it's okay, right? And but here's the funny part. He got really angry. I guess he really loved this chicken soup. And they call over the TSA manager, and they brought out this book like this, and he starts leafing through. He's like, okay, here's the chicken soup part. He starts reading through, and he goes, is that a consomme or is that a... And they're looking through it, and he goes, consomme? Okay, consomme is, or no, cream soup? That's okay. If that was consomme, we would have taken it, because like, I'm just standing there watching the whole thing.
Like, on mine, he's like, I have this product called Rain, or Soul, from a company called Rain, where it's a packet, and it's like ground up seeds, right? And it's really good for you. And so, but it's kind of a liquid because the seeds have been ground up, and kind of like hemp milk comes from hemp seeds, but they make milk out of whatever. So this guy's like, well, these are liquids, and I'm like, this is for my diabetes, man. It balances my blood sugar. He's like, oh, it's medicine, no problem. Gives it right back to me. I was like, okay, I found another a loophole. You know, there's another loophole. If you don't want to go through the naked body scanners and get nailed with all the radiation, instead of opting out where they grope you and pat you down and it takes 5 extra minutes, I always just go through the metal detector, and they look at me, and I'm like, I can't lift my arm over my head.
Did you get that one from me? Because I posted that a couple years ago.
I can't lift my arm over my head. And so like, oh, no problem. They walk me right through, and I don't have to get groped or go through the naked body scanner. So you travel enough, you start learning these little secrets. I found another way. You don't even have to show an ID. You actually... the airlines were the ones that implemented the need for people to show their identification when they're flying around, because they got tired of people bartering and selling off their freaking flyer miles. And so they're the ones that started implementing it, not even the government. And so you can actually go and just tell the TSA, look, I don't have an ID, and they'll let you right through. There's actually a thing I wrote up in one of my articles on one of my blogs that it talks about. I've gone on probably 20, 30 flights without showing any ID.
Really?
So it's kind of cool. I didn't realize that. They give you this impression that you always have to have your ticket and your ID there ready and waiting, and that's not actually true.
Wow. With the shoulder one, I posted that on Facebook about a year or two ago, and I said, this works, and I've done it at least 30 times. You walk up, you say, I was playing hockey and broke my arm, can't lift it up, and they're like, oh, just go through the metal detector then.
And then you don't have to stand in line. You
but
jump right
I've
in.
noticed that they're starting to catch on to it now. Yeah. And so I was actually at an airport, and this guy in front of me said that exact same. I was about to say it. There's no way I can say it right after he said it, right? Like, what are the odds? 2 guys in a row, right? So the guy in front of me does it, and I could see the guy kind of like, really, I've heard this one before. So they've heard it a few times. Well, yeah. And so I actually had this Wired magazine reporter come down Acapulco, and he was doing a story on me about Bitcoin and stuff. And he was following me, and he followed me up to the US. And so I did that with him. And so we're in Houston doing a connection. And I said, watch this. And I kind of gave him a little wink. And I walked up, I said, yeah, my shoulder. And they're like, yep, metal detector, go right through. And after I did, I looked back, and I gave him another wink, and he just started laughing. And the guy saw it. And so they went up to him, they said, was he lying? Was he lying about his arm? And the guy's like, I don't know. So the entire time until we left the US airspace, I did not lift my arm up over my shoulder. I'm just walking around like this. And they were actually following me. I could see them following me. They're like, let's see if he lifts his arm up.
That hurt.
Yeah, it's craziness. But one of the things I love about you is you're such an entrepreneur. It's like every single time I see you, you've got a new business, new ideas. I don't even know how many I've seen you go through. You had your energy drink there for a while, which was really cool. So many different business ideas. Your latest ones have been more Bitcoin related.
Yeah. Well, I started out with wellness because that was kind of the first scam I found out about was the pharmaceutical cartel and making all this money profiteering off sickness and only giving people drugs to treat symptoms and not really focusing on how to fix the root cause of why people are sick in the first place, you know, so I can make all this money. And then I was really into nutraceuticals. I still am. I take the stuff every day. Just I party a lot. I want to make sure I can reverse the damage that I've done. And then I got into energy, solar. As you know, I'm really passionate about helping people get off the grid and free energy and all that kind of stuff. You know, everyone driving around in Teslas and stuff. So
are you still doing that solar one?
To the oil cartel. I still hold shares of stock in the company. I still recommend solar to people, and I still recommend wellness products to people. I'm more passionate about Bitcoin because, well, you remember back in the days when we were doing gold and silver, and then I went into starting. With my friend Wayne, a time-back currency. I learned about the Federal Reserve, read The Creature from Jekyll Island, started coming to your events and others, met Ed Griffin, and I was really passionate about helping people break free from the banking cartel as well. So I'm kind of like, let's get people free from the oil cartel, the pharmaceutical cartel, and the banking cartel. The energy drink was kind of a fun project. That was kind of wellness, kind of a healthy alternative to Red Bull, but we sold that company to another company, and they're still selling the product, and it's still a good product. I like it. But Bitcoin is what I'm most excited about, the blockchain, all the different applications. Of course, Bitcoin is fun, and we can make money with Bitcoin, mining Bitcoin and trading Bitcoin arbitrage stuff. But I was just at the blockchain summit meeting these guys that are building all these kind of apps on top of the blockchain. So if you think about the blockchain as like Microsoft, the operating system of the computer, and then you have all these other applications that run on top of the Microsoft operating system. Same with blockchain. They're going to be doing smart contracts that execute themselves and transferring real estate and title to properties and elections and barrels of oil, whatever you can think of, shipping containers going all around the world being tracked by the blockchain, and how we as miners are going to get a little piece of everything since we're underwriting the entire blockchain. And I think if I could make 25 cents for every real estate transaction that takes place on planet Earth, I would love it. And if you think about all these little countries out there, all these people stuck in the third world, the reason there's so much
like
locked
this.
up. It's not. Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, there's a billion people.
No, but at real third world you're talking about.
Yeah. You know, I was in Indonesia, for instance.
Right.
40 million people in Indonesia can't prove they exist, don't have birth certificates, don't have IDs. So all this capital is locked up, and they can't monetize themselves because they don't have an ID. They can't prove they exist, so they can't open bank accounts. So they can't. When they say they own land, it's like, how do you know? Well, I own that field to the tree, and then across the field to the fence. But they don't have a title to it, so it's locked. They can't monetize it, and they can't really participate. I mean, if you're an electric company, you're not going to run a power line to someone's property to give them electricity if you don't know who owns that property, who's going to pay the power bill once it's there, right? So these people are kind of stuck. But with the blockchain, we can help with the identities. We already got Bitcoin. They can set up their wallet in 5 seconds. They don't need an ID for that. And they can title their real estate on the blockchain, move around real estate, no closing costs, don't have to deal with title insurance, all that kind of stuff. It's really exciting to me. So I am just fascinated with it. I talk about it everywhere I go, and yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah, past Anarchast guest Suzanne Tarkowski, Temple Hop with BitNation, has been doing a lot of that kind of stuff. She was giving out Bitcoin ATM cards to the refugees in Europe.
Yeah.
So these are the way, you know, it's kind of funny. All these people are really upset about the refugees, which that's caused by statism. That's caused by them dropping bombs in Libya and Syria and destroying countries. Then they put them in Turkey, which was their ally. They held them all there until a certain date, and then they just let them go because they want to actually cause chaos in Europe, and we're actually seeing that happening right now. But here's us anarcho-capitalists, and we're just trying to help. We're like, what can we do to help you get what you need so that you're not unhappy, so you're not causing problems? And that's all I ever see with anarcho-capitalists.
It's respect and dignity, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're the peaceful ones. We're the ones that are trying to point out, hey, that violates the non-aggression principle. Everything should be voluntary. Stop forcing your beliefs on others. And I look at it as if your belief system, if your worldview violates the non-aggression principle, it's illegitimate, you know? And it makes this conversation in politics so short. You don't have to argue about this thing or that thing.
What do you think about this bill or that bill?
Yeah,
does it violate the non?
Yeah, you just start. Well, does it violate? Like you bring to the right here. Does it violate the non-aggression principle? Oh, it's illegitimate then, because it's like Republicans and Democrats. They they argue about, they don't have any qualms stealing your money. They just argue about what to spend the stolen loot on, right?
Exactly.
And that's always been frustrating me sitting in some of these debates, and I'm just like, Trump, Hillary, they both love the Federal Reserve. They,
I think it was H.L. Mencken who said that elections are just a pre-auction on stolen goods. Exactly. That's basically all it is, and they just fight over it, and it's disgusting. And I hope more and more people wake up and realize it's actually terrible. Anyone who even really believes in statism, who really thinks, we want this, it's a good thing, we just have to make sure we get the right people in, they're actually evil. They're contributing to a cause that causes violence and theft. Yeah. Just because they don't personally do it does not.
But a lot of them don't know.
I know.
And if you think about it, I love Roger Ver because
we have to let them know.
He put that $250,000 check in the mail to Adam Kokesh to offer to Bernie Sanders. I just saw the video today. If Bernie Sanders just debates Adam for an hour or two, $250,000 will go to the charity of Bernie Sanders' choice. And imagine if that could actually happen and take place and Bernie sits down. Do you know that all of Bernie's followings would instantly switch? I don't know anybody. Most of my Bernie friends that they're only following Bernie because they just don't know yet. And you just sit them down and you lay it out. All right, this is how this works. And all of a sudden they're like, I see the contradiction. And it's hard to, it's doublethink, right, from 1984. You can't hold two contrary beliefs in your head at the same time or your mind explodes. Right?
So many people do, though.
I know, but
and that's why they're so
crazy. You got to point it out.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, and if they're honest, they say, if a man who is honestly mistaken hears the truth, he will either quit being mistaken or quit being honest. Yep. And a lot of people are honestly mistaken, But
no, I agree. But we need to kind of let them know that they are honestly mistaken. And it's interesting, we're talking right now, they're having the Democratic National Party thing. It's funny to watch. Of course, all the great anarcho-capitalists are there actually recording it and not causing any riots or anything. They're just like, look at this craziness. And it's amazing to see. It's pretty much all 99.5% of the people there are all Bernie people. And they found one guy who had a Hillary sign.
Yeah, everyone else is, they're pissed, man, especially with the leak, with the WikiLeaks. All of Hillary's emails are out there now. All of the DNC, you can see the collusion and corruption. The head, that Schultz lady, the head, quit. Was fired from the DNC for being corrupt, and who hires her a minute later? Hillary Clinton.
Just so obvious.
How funny is this?
So yeah, if this actually goes through and Hillary runs and she actually wins, I think it's an opportunity for us to point out to everybody how wrong the system is.
Yeah. I think it's the first past the post, because you look at some countries that don't do that. I don't know. That's a whole nother story. But there's a guy named CP Gray or whatever. He's got some great videos on YouTube, and he explains the various. He explains everything so well. I one time sat and watched his YouTube channel for like 4 hours, all of his videos. I was like, this guy's brilliant.
One of those
so
guys.
So yeah, it's CP Gray, I think his name is, and it's like first past the post voting. He does one on the Electoral College. He does one on like what is England versus the UK versus the city, and kind of explains everything. And yeah, he's pretty good. So sometime you guys should have a watch of that.
Yeah, I love coming across those. I find one every few months, and just like you, I'll just watch every video. I'll be like, oh, I didn't know that
was
part.
Good. It's so animated so well. Well, we would always throw these YouTube parties where I'd have 15, 20 people over. We'd stamp money because I'd get these stamps and get $1 bills, stacks and stacks of $1 bills, and we just stamp our message on all these $1 bills. And I'd have everybody would come over with a couple $100, and then we'd watch YouTube videos while we sit there and stamp money. And I know it sounds dumb, but I actually, when Ron Paul was running, we stamped the money with Ron Paul all over the money. And we were at the World Series, and I was holding a Ron Paul sign, for millions of people coming into the World Series, and some guy comes up to me and he grabs me. He's like, Ron Paul? And he pulls out his wallet. He's got a $20 bill. He pulls out the $20 from Ron Paul. I was like, oh, what is the dollar circulated to that guy? It was funny. So anyways, we have these YouTube parties, and we're like, hey, you pick a good video, we'll watch it, and then I'll pick a good video, we'll watch it, and you pick your favorite video, and we'll all watch it, and you pick your favorite. And just doing that, and everyone gets to pick their favorite video, and we all watch it, it's a great way to expose our friends to some good stuff and be entertained, eat some popcorn, whatever. Smoke a joint. We were in Breckenridge, so it was legal.
Yeah, it's cool. The latest trend is taxation is theft, writing that on your bill. So if you're watching this, you go to a restaurant, if you're going to pay with credit card, in the tip part, just write taxation is theft and leave some Federal Reserve notes. It's amazing, just
tip
little
and cash,
things like that.
tip and cash.
Tip and cash, right? Because the point is that they can not have to pay tax on it if they just quickly shove it in their pocket and there's no IRS guy looking around. But just little things like that can actually change the world, because whoever that waiter is, they're going to go, wow, what's that mean?
They're
And
talk
why
about
did
it
I
with
get?
the other
And they
waiters.
might even just Google taxation is theft, voluntarism, bam, done. Yeah, we can change this world, and you've changed it so many ways. You actually were the one who started the entire legalization or decriminalization of marijuana in Colorado just by standing outside of shopping centers, getting a petition signed, and now that's gone
It's
viral.
gone viral. There's several states that have followed. Yeah,
Several countries,
That's
many
true.
countries.
Uruguay did it. It's exciting to see. And you know, one of the things I think, just when you put out all this good all the time, you're not expecting any kind of reward, but all this good. It's this universe, you get good karma points, you know? I don't know if you guys call it karma or sowing and reaping credits or whatever you want to call it, but I just look at trying to solve people's problems and putting it out there. And you know what happened the other day is we've been mining Bitcoin, and we hit a block on this Bitcoin run. And usually it's like back when we were doing it before the halving, it was 25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes, 25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. So we hit a block, 25 Bitcoin, we open it, and there's like 300 Bitcoin in this block. And there's 25. We're like, what happened? Some poor guy sent $5 and he tagged on like $100,000 mining fee.
He did
to
it
send
wrong.
$5 instead of sending $100,000 with a $5 mining fee. He did it in reverse, where he sent $5 and tagged on a $100,000 mining fee. And we're like, oh my gosh, this poor guy. So we put out this press release like, if this is your money, we want to give it back to you. And the guy, no one claimed this money. No one wanted this money back. And we didn't feel like we earned it or we didn't feel right in keeping it. So we started looking at, well, what are some good internet freedom charities out there that kind of believe in what we believe in, and maybe we can divvy out to some charities. So I went around and looked at about 15, 20 different charities to give this money to. So I got to play Santa Claus in this past month. I gave some to We Are Change, gave some to the Free State Project, the Pork Fest guys, I gave some to the Bitcoin Alliance and to Digital Chamber of Commerce and the Project Cure, which is a humanitarian thing, Man of Relief, that they're wiping out malnutrition with orphans and stuff. There's all these great organizations. Ernie Hancock at Freedom's Phoenix, one of my best buddies. He's doing just a great job. We gave a bunch to the Bitcoin Foundation, et cetera. So the idea is to keep sowing into these organizations that are doing such good in the world, and maybe we get paid back in other ways by spreading the good word. So
Absolutely.
that's kind of the idea.
I'm a big believer in karma. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I know energy. And if you, like you said, if you just keep giving off good energy, it comes back to you, and you don't even know how. It's quite mysterious and mystical and wonderful. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, what about people like Hillary Clinton? Why hasn't it come back to her?" Well, it actually has. Her life must be absolutely miserable.
And so stressful. Always looking at her back. What lie did I tell that I have to remember?
Who do we got to kill
this
now?
Lie over here.
She can't be happy.
Can't be happy at all.
No, and she might also be possessed by demons, but that's a whole other story.
I'm not going to speculate there.
I'm not going to speculate either.
I went through and watched that Clinton Chronicles, the movie, and went over the whole history from back when they were in Whitewater or whatever it was. And Terry Nichols, what is where he was doing the Iran-Contra thing, bringing all the drugs in from Central America and shipping guns down to arm the rebels down
from
there.
From the Cocaine Import Agency, the CIA.
Yeah, the CIA. Yeah, when Bush was CIA director and Clinton was the governor of Arkansas, they were bringing metric tons of cocaine. And I was like, oh my gosh. So these guys are cheap. And I suppose if you're the guys that run the world and you want to put your puppets and pawns in certain locations, you have to have dirt on them. You have to have blackmail stuff on them to be able to trust them that they're going to do what you tell them to do.
That's right.
Because if you think Bill and Hillary Clinton and run the world, no, these guys, they have masters and bosses too. It's not the American people. I mean, look at the Clinton Foundation. How much money did these guys get from all these foreigners?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Saudis gave them tens of millions of dollars, and
it's if you actually look into anything,
they actually killed the hacker last week. The hacker that was the Romanian hacker that.
Are you sure about that? I heard
that they killed. The guy.
I think that was wrong.
Oh.
But I'm not sure.
In prison.
Yeah, the Guccifer.
Yeah.
There was a internet meme going around that he was killed last week, but I think it's been debunked to some level.
Okay, well that's good
I'm
to
not
know.
sure though.
How about
I'm
the
not
guy?
sure.
He was the UN guy from Antigua. He was going to testify.
Oh yeah, there's so many.
That guy died, right? So.
Are you talking about the UN?
The UN guy that died
it was
2 weeks ago.
Just a few days before he's supposed to testify against Hillary.
I mean,
I love that meme. We'll put the meme up. It's like, I can't help it. People around me just die. Hillary.
Kind of scary.
Oh, imagine if she's president. What kind of just craziness will ensue?
I don't really see much of a difference between. I don't know.
But she's just so sociopathic and has no problem getting rid of people who get in her way.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not going to stand in her way. I'm going to be continue traveling around the world, having fun, doing good. Instead of fighting the existing paradigm, I'm trying to create something over here that just makes the old obsolete.
Absolutely.
So then, like, the market naturally migrates to
Absolutely.
what we're doing. And
that's the way to do it. So talk a little bit about your Bitcoin mining. You've been very involved in that.
Yeah. So last July, got involved with some friends of mine, and we get the chips from Bitmain and Bitfury. So it's super fast ASIC mining chips, and we have a data center up in Iceland. And so what we're doing is we're trying to crowdfund the largest Bitcoin mine in the world, and it's going pretty good. We've got close to 50 petahash now chugging away up in Iceland, and just kind of creating this supercomputer that tracks all the Bitcoin transactions around the world and secures the network. Think of it kind of like how Visa works. Visa has a big data center. They track billions of dollars in transactions every day. Millions of people use Visa. And so every day that card swipes. When you go and spend with the restaurant, your Visa card, it swipes. Visa gets 3% of that. So they're making like hundreds of millions of dollars every day. And so we're basically doing the same thing with Bitcoin. We have our data center, our servers that tracks all the transactions, secures the network, and then every day that generates us money, and we take that money and we disperse it in a daily dividend, if you will, paid out to our friends that invest and help us crowdfund this mine. And it's working pretty well. We've already found over $10 million this year, and we're growing it, and we just started mining Ethereum as well. That's another cryptocurrency, and they got some cool ideas with some smart contracts. Although the first one that they did, the DAO, that was really painful. I lost some money on that one, but I guess they're doing a hard fork, and hopefully maybe I'll get my money back. I don't know. But in a way, I want it back, but in a way, I wanted the blockchain to be like not decentralized, immutable. But at the same time, this bastard stole $100 freaking million. So
that one was. Not to laugh, and I hopefully no one lost too much money on it, but it was just so funny to see it because it was pretty small, the DAO, the DAO. And
kind of like the Dow Jones, but not DOW, it's DAO.
And it was quite amazing, yeah. It was quite amazing how it caught on so quick. They started it up, and it got a few $1 million invested into it. Then all of a sudden, it blew up to like $140 million crowdfunded into this thing.
Biggest crowdfunded thing ever.
And then they launch it, and then it died.
Oh, God.
Like, this is worse than the fiat banking system.
I know, poor guys. But so we're mining Ethereum, we're mining Bitcoin, and what's cool about being the backbone of the blockchain is that anything, you trade barrels of oil, we're going to make money. You move real estate around, we're going to make money, transaction fees.
As miners.
Right. So I think everybody, if you buy 10 Bitcoin right now, and you hold it for 5 years, 5 years from now it's going to still be only 10 Bitcoin. But if you buy 10 Bitcoin and then invest it in things like mining equipment or arbitrage trading, et cetera, you can grow that 10 Bitcoin to 15 Bitcoin to 20 Bitcoin. And so that's one of the things we're about to do. It's pretty exciting. I met these guys that run this organization called Genesis Mining, Marco. And they also really, really smart engineers. And if you look at all the Bitcoin exchanges, like Coinbase, Bitcoin, let's say, is $600. But you go over to Kraken, and Kraken, it's 603. And then over at Bittrex, it's 608, and at Bitfinex, it's at 610, and at ANC, or at BTC-E, or Polynex, whatever. The price of Bitcoin is different on every one of these exchanges. So there's a lot of inefficiencies. And so what these guys developed is this bot that sits on top of the exchanges, and it will instantly buy it, let's say a Bitcoin at Coinbase for $600 and sell for 605 instantly at Bittrex. And then we'll buy at 601 over here at ANX and sell instantly at Bitfinex at 605 or whatever, and make a little $3 spread every single time. And we'll do it 1,000 times a day. And it will just, you just have this automatic bot just buying and selling Bitcoin for you all day long. So that's one of the things I'm pretty excited about, is growing our Bitcoin and being able to my goal is to have whoever decides to join our club, Bitclub, to be able to tell their friends this was the best financial decision of my life. So that's what I think we've got. I'm really excited about it. We're launching a merchant acquisition program here pretty soon, which is exciting because we can go and have our army of affiliates go sign up businesses to accept Bitcoin. Your gas station, your local grocery store, the car dealership, the hotel. Get them as a merchant of yours so they can take Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Bitcoin. And then you make an override on all the volume that business does for years and years and years, because they're your business. So you get a percentage of all their transactions. So imagine this army of people all around the world that every month are sign up 10 to 20,000 businesses every month. We'll eventually be able to buy everything with Bitcoin. We'll never have to touch fiat. We'll never have to deal with the banks anymore. Jesus, please.
It would be so beautiful.
It is going to be beautiful, and we have a really creative way of. That's going to be an actual entity that we're going to spin off and either get acquired or sell or go public with that specific merchant acquisition entity. It's going to be.
So is this something that people can invest in?
Yeah.
So let them know.
Yeah. So we haven't quite launched that project yet. It's being developed. The developers keep telling us it's going to be next week, and it's how developers are. So I'm hoping in August we will be live. The idea that we were discussing, and I probably shouldn't get too detailed about it because I'm not 100% certain if we're actually going to go this route, but the idea would be to create 1 billion shares of stock in this entity, probably a Hong Kong entity, and then what we're going to do is sell off 250 million shares at 4 cents a share, so you get 25 shares for $1. Take the other 250 million shares and give it away for free to our affiliates that go out and get businesses, so everybody can participate in the buyout. Because if we have a couple 100,000 businesses and everybody works really hard to go get those businesses, and then Visa comes along 2 years from now and says, hey, we'll give you $3 billion for your merchant processing application. Well, $3 billion divided by 1 billion shares, that's $3 a share. Imagine buying stock at 4 cents a share and selling it 2 years later at $3 a share. We can all make a lot of money. And what are we doing? We're making a lot of money by bringing Bitcoin to the world. I mean, you got to make your money somehow. You got to make it changing tires, waiting tables, being a bartender, whatever. Or you can be like you and me and go change the world and talk about things that get us excited. Bitcoin, kind of be disciples, and that's kind of my whole thought. I mean, I dream about this every day. So
yeah. Is there a place that people can go to find out more information? Or?
Yeah, so they can learn about Bitclub at bitclubrevolution.com. Bitclubrevolution.com. Yeah. And you can see a little bit about our mining project, but that's where we're going to be launching all these new programs. Because once you have the network built, the affiliates everywhere, we have tens of thousands of people now all over 80 different countries now. We have people, and so the idea is you get this whole network everywhere, and then you can constantly run new products through the network, and instantly, 50,000 people buy it the next day, whatever cool new product we can think of. So right now it's the merchant acquisition, the arbitrage trading, the Ethereum mining, and the Bitcoin mining. So those are our main things.
Cool. Yeah, check it out. So you just came down to Acapulco, and like last minute you just called me and you're like, "Yeah, I'm coming down."
Yeah,
which is very typical for you.
I missed you at Freedom Fest last week, and I was trying
to
get there.
I didn't even. Oh,
no,
okay.
I was trying to get there. I saw you and Luke and everyone having all this fun, and I was like, "Oh."
You missed my fight with Gary Johnson.
I know. I heard about it, but I didn't hear about it.
What a little prick.
I think Austin's kind of a dork.
Oh, he's a total dork. Douchebag.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
like to talk too negative.
Hey, I gave Gary Johnson his first Bitcoin, so he's coming there. He's coming there.
All I did is I walked up to Gary Johnson and I said, "Are you really a libertarian?" And he lost his mind. He got this close to my nose and started yelling, and he's like spitting all over me. I couldn't even understand what he was saying. He went nuts. Like I looked in his eyes and they were cold, and he was like, he looked like he wanted to kill me. And then all his bodyguards came in. And I just put my hands up. I'm like, hey, I'm a free, peaceful person. I have no intention of aggressing against you. I just asked you a question. Are you really a libertarian? And the funny part was that past Anarchast guest Avens O'Brien was there, and she pulled him aside and she said something to him. Then he came up to me right after he just shouted in my face, and he went, "Really sorry about that." And he shook my hand. And I said, "What happened?" And he said, "Avens says you have a pretty big audience." Typical politician, He's definitely not a real libertarian. He's a big L libertarian. He uses the word. He's less government.
I think he'd be better than both Clinton
of course.
and Trump.
Yeah, no. Yeah, if you have to vote, and please,
vote with your wallets, man.
Yeah, vote with your wallet.
If you have a vote, spend your money with companies that are cool and that are doing good for the world. Don't go do business with bastard companies. And vote as a juror. Remember our whole jury nullification project we were doing there for a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Go in, and if it's a victimless crime, say not guilty. Don't go in and try to skip it and be like, I'm a
No, that's one of the only
KKK
things.
member. You don't want me on the jury, and try to get out of it. Don't do that. Go in and be like, under the radar, and then get there.
And
be
if
like, who's the victim? No victim, no crime.
Right.
Not guilty.
Yeah, that's one of the only ways to work within the system that I think makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you do get called to jury,
do not try to
accept it.
skip out of jury
Yeah,
duty.
accept it. Don't say you've thought about things a little bit and you believe in voluntary transactions. Just go, no, yeah, I watch CNN, and yes, yeah, all good.
CSI, I'm ready. Can't wait.
And then bring up the guy, and it's like, we found 5 pounds of marijuana plants in his house. Is there a victim? No. Not guilty.
But we found this weed in his house, and weed's legal. No victim,
There's
no crime.
no victim, no crime.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one way
and
you
that
can
will
change
send a
things.
message back to these politicians. Look, you guys can pass whatever laws you want, but we're not going to convict.
Damn right.
You know, and if they get that message, it doesn't take. We need 1 out of 12 jurors because it has to be unanimous, so the person goes free. If you could be one of those 12, we could change it just right there, because the jury is above the law, it's above the judge, it's above the prosecutor. The jury is the final say. That's how we, the people, still have somewhat control, but not really, because everybody's pretty dumb.
Yeah, they've worked on them dumbing everyone down so much that it doesn't even matter.
People don't even know.
But once people hear our philosophy, even the dumbest person I've ever met, once they hear it, they're like, that sounds really good.
Yeah. Everybody says yes once you explain it, right? They're like, yeah, I think everything should be voluntary. Sure.
Like you just say, do you own yourself? I don't know anyone. Actually, there was one guy on YouTube, I think it was Peter Schiff, interviewed him at a Democratic rally or something, and he said, do you own yourself? And the guy took like a minute to think about it, which is scary right off the bat.
It's like, no, society
And he
owns
said,
me.
who owns you? And the guy thought about it, and he went, my parents and the government. Wow. So those people are
I
out there.
thought slavery was abolished. You know?
But that's it's not even his fault. He's just been inundated with propaganda and mainstream media his whole life. So, even that person, I wouldn't go, what a jerk, what an idiot. I'd go, someone try to get through to him, tell him he owns himself.
Well, and one of these ways I've been able to do it is get people to become entrepreneurs.
That's a good way.
Because money is really important to a lot of people, and a lot of the reason why people don't know about these things is they just haven't had the time. They're exhausted after work. They sit down, they have their beer, they watch their TV, and
Which is all on
they don't
purpose.
have time to freaking figure it out because they're trying to raise a
They're
family,
just
pay
running.
bills, and work a job, and all this shit, right? And so, if you can get them wealthy, get people free, then all of a sudden they're like, holy shit, look how much money that the government is stealing from me every freaking, I hate this, right? You can take a socialist, teach them how to become an entrepreneur, all of a sudden they're no longer a socialist, right? Because now they're like, I don't like 50% of my profits to go to taxes, etc. And so then they automatically become more of a libertarian, if you will. So I've been kind of focused on, let's get people free, get people healthy, get people off the grid, because when you're off the grid and you're out of the banks and you're healthy and you're making money, you don't have to answer to anyone. Now you can have the time to
Now you take a private jet to
yourself,
Acapulco,
fly
hang
around,
out with us.
Go, yeah, exactly. Come to Anarchapulco. We just went and saw the venue, which is pretty exciting.
Oh, I haven't announced this yet.
It is nice.
Let me just quickly, the contract is not, there's not pen and paper yet, but it's 99.99%.
Yeah.
We're going to move it to a new hotel called the Imperial Mundo.
Yeah. Nice hotel, lots of restaurants.
They have approached us. We're the biggest private conference in Acapulco already, and they approached us, and we went to dinner. They brought us lunch and everything. Not to say that we're so easily bought out that you buy us lunch, we're going to have
They had really good Thai food yesterday. That was awesome.
It is really good food. But we're talking to them. We're like, well, so who owns this hotel? And they're like, well, he's a Mexican billionaire. And he said, oh, by the way, he hates the government. That's why he wants to have your conference at his hotel. And done deal at that point.
Yeah.
And you saw the
See,
hotel.
entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs, then they realize they don't like getting robbed.
So you saw
they automatically become libertarians.
So you saw it. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, they got a conference center that can hold 20,000 people. You know, you can section it off. You can have big concerts there. Great stage. The bars stay open past 2, 3. Some won't even close.
They won't close till you leave. Plus,
we're gonna have it catered
the concert
with the,
stage. You saw that.
Yeah.
We're probably going to market it throughout Acapulco because we're bringing out some huge rappers.
Yeah.
We're going to have Eric July and Statism. I'm talking to Monsanto Payday right now. That's pretty close. And then you brought up
maybe the Wandering Monks.
Yeah, you brought them up yesterday. I didn't even know about them. If you don't know about the Wandering Monks, check out their music. It's really good.
It's great. They're out of Colorado.
So hopefully we'll have them here too. Hopefully we can work out a deal. So yeah, good to have you here. I know you're taking off tomorrow again. You're always on a jet plane.
Yep, going out to Chicago for an event with Richard Branson. And he's really into the blockchain, Bitcoin stuff.
Oh yeah, you've been hanging out with him quite a bit, haven't you?
Yeah, I've gone to his island a couple times, and man, he's smart, and he's got a network of other billionaires, obviously, and they're all really excited about this. That's how I know it's going to win, because the smartest people in the world and the richest people in the world are like, the government needs to go from here to here. How do we do this? We have to cut out the bureaucracy. How do you do that? The blockchain. We can get rid of all the paper. We can get rid of all these jobs that shouldn't exist in the first place. So it's really exciting to see that, you know, these guys that have a lot of influence are excited about it too, and that's how I pretty much know it's a winner. I mean, they've put a couple $100 million into this thing, so. Yeah, they're going to make it happen, and
that's great.
And I love riding this wave, and you guys should come ride this wave with us. And thanks for having me on as well, Jeff.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming down.
Cheers, brother.
So yeah, it's Joby Weeks. Check them out. I don't know if you want people to follow you on Facebook or anything.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I got a Facebook page.
Just follow him. You just see every day he's flying somewhere.
Whatever.
He's with Richard Branson. He's selling Bitcoin to people. It's really cool stuff. Joby's a great guy. Hopefully we'll have you speak at Anarchapulco.
Sure, I plan on it. I love the venue, so I'll definitely come down. The hotel's pretty nice too.
Cool. So that's it from Anarchapulco. It's a little cloudy today, which is kind of rare, but it's still beautiful.
Hot.
It's definitely still hot. It's the summertime here. It gets a little hotter.
July.
Yeah, but it's all good. We're having a good time with our good friend David here, and your wife, and some other really cool people. So yeah, hope you all come down. End of February. We're actually going to change the dates too, by the way, just to fit in this hotel. They already had it booked for the dates we had. It's just going to change by about 2 days. I forget the dates exactly. I think February 24th is going to be the Dollar Vigilante conference now, and then February 25th to 28th, I believe. But we'll have that all up on the anarchapulco.com website if you want to check that out. Could be good times. So thank you, Joby, and that's it for Anarchast.
I'm jumping in the pool.
Yeah, let's go. That's it for Anarchast. Your home for anarchy on the internet. Peace, love, and anarchy.
Ciao.
Concept of digital scarcity really excited me because I knew this was going to pave the way for entirely new industries to be built upon this concept, and it's really digital scarcity. I can't really stress that term enough. It's a new word that, you know, in the 21st century we're going to have to get used to, because we're used to unlimited data.
Bitcoin is not only the coin, as we most know, and I hope more people will get into this and see that it's not only a coin, but it's also a system. One of these applications, of course, is Bitcoin, and it's also a financial system. It's the most transparent and uncorruptible system I have seen from the insights up till now.
DNS is the secret sauce that makes it all work. So all of the current and future battles over control, over choke points, over freedom of speech, what's permitted, what's not permitted, it's all going to take place in the DNS sphere.
From Acapulco, Mexico, this is Anarchast.